I've never told this story publicly before because even now, years later, I can't explain what we found beneath that ice. This happened during a fishing trip in northern Minnesota when I was 23. My friend Aaron and I had driven 3 hours north to spend a weekend ice fishing on a lake called Blackwater. It wasn't a popular spot. Most locals avoided it because the lake was unusually deep and had a reputation for strange accidents. I didn't believe any of the stories, at least not then. The first day was uneventful. We set up our shelter, drilled several holes, and spent most of the afternoon catching small perch. By sunset, the temperature had dropped below zero and the lake became completely silent. There's a kind of silence you only experience in places like that. No traffic, no distant sounds, just endless white ice stretching toward dark forests. The next morning, everything changed. Aaron had moved about 50 yards away from me to drill another hole. I remember hearing him yell, "Hey, get over here!" At first, I thought he had caught something. When I reached him, he was kneeling beside the hole, staring into the water. "What?" "I think there's something down there." I looked inside. The water was unusually clear. About 15 feet below the ice was a dark object resting on the lake bottom. At first, I thought it was a rock. Then Aaron lowered an underwater fishing camera. The screen flickered. A moment later, we realized what we were looking at. It was a backpack, a black backpack, sitting upright on the bottom of the lake. Neither of us spoke. The thing looked completely out of place. "How does a backpack end up down there?" Aaron asked. Good question. The strange part was that there weren't any signs of damage. It looked almost new. We spent the next hour trying to retrieve it using a weighted hook. Eventually, the hook caught one of the straps. Slowly, we dragged it upward through the freezing water. When it finally emerged through the hole, we both stared at it. The backpack was surprisingly intact, covered in algae, but intact. The zipper was frozen shut. Aaron looked at me. "You thinking what I'm thinking?" "Nope. We're opening it." I should have walked away. Instead, I helped. After several minutes, we managed to force the zipper open. Inside were several items: a flashlight, a water bottle, a notebook, and a small digital camera sealed inside a waterproof case. The notebook was ruined. Most of the pages had fused together. The flashlight was dead, but the camera was different. The waterproof case had protected it almost perfectly. Aaron immediately became excited. "If this thing still works." Back at our cabin, we dried everything carefully. The camera looked like it was from the early 2010s, old but not ancient. The battery was dead, but somehow Aaron found a compatible charger online and drove to a nearby town to buy one. That night, we plugged it in. Neither of us expected anything. An hour later, the screen turned on. We both froze. The camera worked. There were hundreds of photographs. At first, they looked normal. Pictures of forests, cabins, fishing trips, friends. Then the images became strange, very strange. The photos were organized by date. The last set had been taken in winter on the same lake we were fishing. The photographer appeared to be documenting a camping trip. 3 people, 2 men, 1 woman, smiling in every picture. Then suddenly, the mood changed. The next images showed only 2 people. The woman was gone. No explanation, no caption, nothing. Aaron scrolled faster. The remaining photos became increasingly unsettling. The 2 men appeared exhausted, afraid. Several photographs showed them staring toward the frozen lake at night, as if they were watching something. One image sent a chill through me. It showed a large, dark shape beneath the ice, not clear enough to identify, but definitely there. The photographer had zoomed in repeatedly, trying to capture whatever it was. The next 20 photographs were blurry, taken while running. Trees, snow, darkness. Then came the final image. Neither of us spoke for several seconds. The picture showed one of the men standing on the frozen lake, facing away from the camera. Behind him, visible beneath the ice, was what looked like a human face, looking upward, frozen just below the surface. I felt sick. Aaron kept insisting it was a reflection, but it wasn't. The face was under the ice. You could see the distortion through the frozen surface. The timestamp showed the photo had been taken 11 years earlier. Then there were no more pictures. That was the final image. No explanation, no additional files, nothing. The next morning, we drove into town and showed the camera to a local sheriff. He spent nearly 30 minutes reviewing everything. His expression changed as he reached the final photographs. When he finished, he asked where we found it. We told him. He nodded slowly. Then he asked us to leave the camera with him. We agreed. Before leaving, I asked if he recognised the people. He hesitated. Then he said something that still bothers me. I think I might. That was all. No names, no details, nothing. Weeks passed. I never heard anything. Eventually, curiosity got the better of me. I called the sheriff's office. A different deputy answered. I explained the situation. After a long pause, he said he couldn't discuss active investigations. Active investigations? 11 years later? That didn't make any sense. Months passed. Then one evening, Aaron called me. His voice sounded nervous. Remember the camera? Yeah. He'd found something. He'd spent weeks researching missing persons reports. Eventually, he located an old newspaper article from around the same time as the photographs. 3 campers disappeared near Blackwater Lake during a winter expedition. Search teams recovered no bodies, no equipment, no evidence, nothing. 3 people vanished, exactly 3, the same number shown in the photographs. I felt cold reading the article. The dates matched, the location matched, everything matched, except for one thing. The article included photographs of the missing individuals, the woman, the first man, and the second man, the photographer, the owner of the camera, the person supposedly took all the pictures. Yet, in the final photograph, the photographer appeared standing on the lake, facing away from the camera. Aaron noticed it too. Who took the last picture? Neither of us had an answer, because if the owner of the camera was in that final image, someone else had to be holding the camera. Someone who was never mentioned, someone who never appeared in any previous photograph, someone who was standing behind him on the ice that night, taking the picture. For years, I tried convincing myself there was a logical explanation. Maybe a 4th person had joined them. Maybe the reports were incomplete. Maybe we were missing information. Then last winter, something happened. I received a message from an unknown account online. No profile picture, no name, just a single sentence. I heard you found the camera. I stared at the screen. I replied asking who they were. No response. Hours later, another message appeared. Only 4 words. Leave the lake alone. Then the account disappeared, deleted, gone. I still have screenshots, and every winter when temperatures drop, I think about that final image. The man standing on the ice, the face beneath him, and the unknown person behind the camera. Because whoever took that last photograph never appeared in any report, never appeared in any search records, never appeared in any photograph, except the one they took. And somehow, 11 years later, they knew we had found the camera.
I work as a helicopter mechanic in Alaska, and because of that job, I've spent a lot of time around researchers, survey crews, and people who make a living travelling to places most people will never see. A few years ago, I got pulled into something that still keeps me awake. The official explanation never made sense, and the thing we found under that ice should not have been there. It started in late March. A university research team had been studying a glacier roughly 80 miles from the nearest town. Their project focused on ice movement and climate data. Nothing unusual, at least that's what I thought. Our company was contracted to transport equipment and personnel to the site every few days. The researchers had been there for almost 2 weeks when I first met them. There were 6 people in total, 5 scientists and 1 guide. The team leader was a woman named Kelly Mercer. She seemed exhausted, not physically, mentally. I noticed it immediately. Most researchers are excited when discussing their work. Kelly seemed nervous. Every time someone asked about the project, she would quickly change the subject. At first, I assumed it was stress. Then things got stranger. On my 3rd trip to the glacier, I overheard 2 members of the team arguing beside one of the supply tents. "You can't keep pretending this is normal." "I'm not pretending anything. You saw the scans. Lower your voice." The conversation stopped when they noticed me. Neither spoke another word. That night, our pilot told me something interesting. Apparently, the team had requested additional ground-penetrating radar equipment urgently. That was unusual. Their original equipment was already capable of mapping hundreds of feet below the surface. Why would they need more? 3 days later, I found out. I arrived at the glacier around noon. The moment I stepped off the helicopter, I knew something was wrong. Nobody was working. Everyone stood together near a large excavation area, silently, watching. Kelly approached us immediately. Her face looked pale. "You're going to hear rumours," she said. "Don't listen to them." That wasn't reassuring, not even a little. We unloaded supplies. As we worked, I kept glancing toward the excavation site. The researchers had dug through nearly 20 feet of compacted ice. Inside the trench was something enormous, covered by insulated tarps. Nobody would tell us what it was. That evening, I stayed longer than usual to help repair a generator. As the sun disappeared, I noticed something. The scientists were taking photographs, hundreds of photographs, every angle imaginable. Whatever was beneath those tarps was important, very important. Around midnight, I stepped outside the maintenance tent. The glacier was silent. The sky was clear. Stars covered the horizon. Then I saw movement near the excavation site. Someone was standing beside the trench. At first, I assumed it was security. Then the figure turned. Even from a distance, I could tell something was wrong. It moved strangely, slowly, almost mechanically. I blinked. The figure disappeared. Gone. Just gone. I convinced myself it had been a trick of the light. The next morning changed everything. One of the researchers was missing, a young man named Eric. According to his tent mate, he'd left sometime after midnight and never returned. The entire camp began searching. Hours passed. Nothing. No footprints, no equipment, no sign of him anywhere. The glacier was an open landscape. People don't simply vanish there. By evening, the search was suspended. Temperatures were dropping rapidly. Kelly gathered everyone together.
She looked terrified, not concerned, terrified. Then she said something that made no sense. If anyone hears voices outside their tent tonight, do not respond." Nobody laughed. Nobody questioned her. The silence was worse. That night, I couldn't sleep. The wind battered the tents. Ice shifted somewhere in the darkness. Then I heard it. A voice. Outside. Faint. Distant. Calling someone's name. At first, I thought it was another researcher. Then I recognized the name. It was Eric, the missing researcher. Someone was calling for Eric over and over. The voice sounded wrong, not human. It had the rhythm of human speech, but none of the emotion, like a recording repeating itself. I stayed inside. Eventually, the voice stopped. The next morning, nobody discussed it, not openly, but I could tell others had heard it too. Several researchers looked exhausted. One researcher refused to leave his tent. Another spent most of the day staring toward the excavation. That's when I finally saw what they had uncovered. A strong gust of wind ripped one of the tarps away. Only for a second, but it was enough. What I saw made absolutely no sense. At first, I thought it was a vehicle. Then I realized it wasn't. The object was smooth, metallic, dark grey, and enormous, partially embedded inside ancient ice. No visible doors, no windows, no markings, nothing. The shape reminded me of an aircraft fuselage, except it had no wings, no engines, no seams, no features whatsoever. Just a massive metal structure buried beneath thousands of years of ice. Kelly immediately ordered workers to secure the tarp again, but the damage was done. I had seen it. That afternoon, another researcher approached me privately. His name was Daniel. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "You saw it, didn't you?" I nodded. He glanced around nervously, then lowered his voice. "It wasn't discovered here." "What?" "It wasn't buried by the glacier." I stared at him. "What are you talking about?" He swallowed hard. "The radar shows it below multiple ice layers." I didn't understand. He continued. "The surrounding ice is thousands of years old." So? So the object isn't. The implication hit me immediately. Something modern couldn't be trapped inside ice that ancient unless something impossible had happened. Daniel looked terrified. "They're lying about the age estimates." Before I could ask more, Kelly appeared. Daniel immediately walked away. We never finished that conversation. Later that evening, another researcher disappeared. This time, people panicked. The camp was placed on lockdown. Nobody was allowed outside alone. Security personnel were flown in. Officially, they claimed weather conditions were responsible. Nobody believed that, especially after what happened next. The following morning, the excavation site was empty. The object was gone, completely gone. The massive structure buried beneath the glacier had vanished overnight. I grew up in northern Ontario, where winter lasts longer than it should and lakes remain frozen for months at a time. When I was 16, there was a lake near our town that everyone avoided. Officially, it was called Lake Mercer. Nobody called it that. Locals called it Echo Lake, not because of the way sound travelled, because people claimed the lake sometimes answered back. I never believed those stories. Most of us didn't. The adults would tell strange tales about voices beneath the ice, but we assumed it was just another local legend designed to keep kids away from dangerous areas. Then one winter, my friends and I decided to spend a night there. There were 4 of us: me, my cousin Tyler, a guy named Josh, and Josh's older brother, Ryan. We wanted to film a stupid video for social media. The plan was simple: walk onto the frozen lake after dark, record a few clips, tell ghost stories, leave. That was it. Nothing serious. We arrived just after sunset. The temperature was brutally cold. Snow covered most of the ice, except for a large wind-swept area near the center of the lake. The place felt strange immediately. Not scary, just wrong. The lake was completely silent. No birds, no wind, nothing. Even our footsteps sounded muted. Ryan joked that it felt like the world had been turned off. Nobody laughed. Around 9 o'clock, we built a small fire near shore. For a while, everything was normal. We told stories, filmed videos, made fun of each other. Then Tyler heard something, a faint tapping sound, 3 knocks, coming from somewhere beneath the ice. Tap, tap, tap. We all stopped talking. The sound came again, this time louder. Josh immediately grinned, probably the ice shifting. That explanation made sense. Frozen lakes make noises all the time, cracks, booms, groans. But this was different. The knocks sounded deliberate, rhythmic, like someone hitting a wall. 3 taps, pause, 3 taps, pause, 3 taps. Ryan walked closer to the shoreline. The tapping stopped. Everything became silent again. A few minutes later, we heard it from another location. Farther out, near the center of the lake. 3 knocks, exactly the same pattern. Nobody seemed eager to investigate, except Ryan. Ryan was the kind of person who couldn't leave things alone. The more unusual something seemed, the more interested he became. He grabbed a flashlight. "I'm checking it out." The rest of us followed, mostly because none of us wanted to remain alone. The tapping continued intermittently as we walked, always ahead of us, never behind us, almost like it was leading us somewhere. Eventually, we reached the wind-swept section of ice. The snow had been stripped away, leaving a smooth, transparent surface. Ryan shined his flashlight downward. At first, we saw nothing. Then Josh pointed. There! About 10 feet below the surface was something dark. A shape, not moving, not quite visible enough to identify. The flashlight reflected off the ice, making it difficult to see clearly. Ryan knelt, pressed his face close to the surface. Then he froze. "What is that?" Nobody answered, because nobody knew. The shape looked almost human. Almost, but not entirely. The proportions seemed wrong. Too long, too thin. Tyler immediately wanted to leave. Honestly, so did I. Instead, Ryan took out an ice auger. Within minutes, he started drilling. I remember feeling nervous, not because I thought something supernatural was happening, because I had a bad feeling, the kind you should listen to. The drill finally broke through. Dark water appeared beneath the hole. Nothing happened. Ryan laughed. "Told you." Then the knocking started again, directly beneath us, louder than before. Everyone jumped. The sound came from under the ice, not around us, under us. Tap, tap, tap. The vibrations travelled through the frozen surface. I felt them in my boots. Nobody spoke. Ryan slowly lowered his flashlight into the hole. The beam disappeared into darkness. For several seconds, we saw nothing. Then something moved, fast. The flashlight vanished, just disappeared.
pulled downwards. The cord snapped tight, then went slack. Ryan stared into the hole. What the hell? The flashlight was gone. The water became still. Nobody suggested staying. We immediately started packing our equipment. That's when Tyler noticed something. Footprints, fresh footprints, leading across the lake. None of us had seen them before. They appeared from the darkness beyond the flashlight range, crossed directly toward the hole, then stopped. There were no return tracks, no continuation, just footprints ending beside the opening in the ice. Ryan became visibly uncomfortable. For the first time all night, he looked scared. We left, fast. Nobody spoke much during the drive home. The next morning, Ryan called me. He wanted to go back. I refused. Tyler refused too. Josh eventually agreed to join him. The two returned that afternoon. Around sunset, Ryan sent us several photographs. The hole was still there. The footprints were gone. Then he sent one final image, a close-up photograph looking through the ice. I wish I'd never seen it. The picture showed a face, human, or at least human-looking, directly beneath the frozen surface. The eyes were open, looking upwards. The image quality wasn't great, but the expression was unmistakable. It looked terrified. Ryan claimed it must have been some strange optical illusion, a combination of shadows and trapped air. Nobody believed that, not even him. 3 days later, Ryan disappeared. His truck was found parked beside Echo Lake. The keys remained inside. His phone was recovered near shore. Search teams spent nearly a week looking for him. Nothing. No body. No evidence. No explanation. Just gone. The official conclusion was accidental drowning. Maybe, except for one problem. The ice was nearly 2 feet thick. There was no sign he had fallen through. No broken surface. No damaged ice. Nothing. A month later, the lake began thawing. Search crews returned. Eventually, they located something near the centre. A month later, the lake began thawing. Search crews returned. Eventually, they located something near the centre. Divers recovered a camera, Ryan's camera. Most of the files were corrupted. Only one image survived. The photograph was taken at night. The timestamp showed it had been captured less than an hour before Ryan vanished. I saw the image myself because Josh's family received a copy. The picture showed the frozen lake, the same hole, the same location. At first it seemed empty. Then someone zoomed in. Near the edge of the frame stood a figure, partially obscured by darkness, watching the camera, watching Ryan. The figure looked exactly like him. Same jacket, same face, same build, an exact copy, standing roughly 50 yards away. The investigators dismissed it as image distortion, a trick of light, but nobody who saw the original believed that. Years passed. People stopped talking about the case. Life moved on. Then, last winter, something happened. A construction company began surveying land near Echo Lake. One of the workers accidentally broke through a section of shoreline ice. The opening exposed something trapped below, a backpack. Inside the backpack was a water-damaged notebook. Most pages were unreadable, except for one sentence. The writing was identified as Ryan's. Only 7 words survived. 7 words written repeatedly across an entire page, over and over, the same sentence, hundreds of times. I heard myself calling from below.
The notebook was handed over to authorities. The discovery briefly made local news. Then the story disappeared, just like everything else connected to that lake. Today, Echo Lake is still there. People still fish nearby. Tourists still visit during winter. Most have never heard the stories. Most don't know why older locals avoid the centre after dark. And every year when the ice returns, new reports appear. 3 knocks, coming from somewhere beneath the frozen surface. Always the same pattern. Always 3. Tap, tap, tap. Some people claim it's shifting ice. Others say it's trapped gas. Maybe they're right. I hope they're right. Because if they're wrong, then something's still down there. Something that can imitate voices. Something that knows your name. And if Ryan's notebook was telling the truth, then whatever lives beneath that lake doesn't call to strangers. It calls to you using your own voice.
If you're still watching, subscribe to Dr. Nightmare. It's the only way to survive.